had one comment from last week. They said that I don't know if I was outside the frame on it, but it was not picking me voice up that well.
Okay.
So I don't know. I will try to just make sure I get it in there. But it may be. You won't get too close. I'll just talk loud. That was only one comment I heard. But,
Okay.
All right. Make sure you get Miss Anderson in
I
there.
think she's in there.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Check. Okay. Looking for my notes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go ahead and jump in. It's a few minutes before 5:30. We had wanted this beginning time to be a little opportunity for y'all to network and shake hands, meet each other, meet our leaders here. But if you'll notice in the back, we've got some cookies and water, and feel free at any time to excuse yourself and grab those. Those were provided to us from a bakery in Faultville. Jamie, you're going to have to remind me. I know it's Lulu's.
Homemade by Lala.
Homemade by Lala. And she decorated them with the purple D, and she's just really a gifted baker. So be sure to stop by there and tell her thank you, and pick up some cookies to take home. My name is Missy Evans, and I'm the director, the president of the Hartselle Area Chamber. And I just, first of all, wanted to say thank you. I know it is no small feat to try and get somewhere on a work evening, end of a school day by 5:30. So thank you for making time to be here. It just shows your love for this community and your interest in trying to support all of the things and the ways that the leaders are serving y'all, and we appreciate that. A lot of people don't know what a chamber is, so I always like to start by explaining the purpose of our chamber and what we're trying to do here in the community. We are a nonprofit organization, and our purpose is to advance the welfare of Hartselle and the surrounding areas. We build community through the avenue of private business. We are a volunteer leadership organization, and we seek to improve our local economy and the quality of life in our area by maintaining and strengthening a sound and healthy business climate, by providing for the total development and employment of the area's human and economic resources, which basically means developing a workforce for our area. We seek to provide leadership to solve community problems and initiate community action. So we love to just get people just like you together to solve the problems that are right here in this community, because we believe that y'all have all the gifts and resources to be able to solve the problems that are right here in front of us. And lastly, we like to serve as the voice of business in legislative matters and further the understanding of our free enterprise economic system, which is exactly the reason why we're here tonight. We focus on legislative matters because we're committed to being a leader in the region by engaging in legislative conversations. We encourage initiatives that promote growth in an environment where businesses can prosper. We believe that legislative matters are about people, and that's what the chamber's about. And we believe that you all need these opportunities to get up close and personal to those that are seeking to represent you and make decisions on your behalf. And we want to be the ones helping to facilitate that, whether it be through these type of virtual events or these in-person type arrangements, because so often you don't really get to hear their voices. And so we try and facilitate that. And we feel like this is an opportunity for community members to be able to ask important questions. So we seek to facilitate that. You know, these leaders, mayors in the area, school leadership, other community leaders, county commissioners, they've long demonstrated their capacity to lead on critical issues that extend beyond just their communities. One example would be, of course, the last 2 years and the COVID crisis that we've faced. And here we want to give them the opportunity to speak about their leadership priorities, the anticipated challenges that they see coming towards them in the years ahead, and to discuss a roadmap for the future. including whatever plans or goals or impacts that they see these things having. So thank you for being here again. I'm going to turn it over to Daxton Mays. Daxton is the Director of Operations at Hartsville Utilities, but he also equally serves on the Board of Directors with our chamber, but he's also been elected to represent Hartsville City Schools as a director there as well. So he is very well versed in community matters and cares very much. And I know he's given a lot of thought to the questions he's going to present to y'all today. So I'm going to turn it over to Daxton, and thank you again. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Thank you.
All right, folks, thank y'all so much for being here again. My name is Daxton Mays, and I'll serve as the moderator for the panel tonight. We've got 4 great leaders here who are going to be answering some predetermined questions that we provided to them, so they can have a chance to think about them and craft an answer to those. So we will be going through those. Our process tonight is going to be, we're going to start here with Mr. Vest and work our way down. Each panelist has about 5 questions to answer. Then we'll have closing comments at the end. Again, thank you for your time to be here. I do value your time, so we will try to wrap up at 7 or before that. So thank you so much, and we'll get started. All right, we're going to start out with some introductions from each of the panelists, and again, they're going to share just a few minutes about themselves and their position, and any other information that they feel to share as we start out. So we're going to start here with current County Commissioner Randy Bass from District 2. Mr. Bass.
Thank you, Daxton, and I just want to say that I appreciate the Hartsville Area Chamber of Commerce for doing this event tonight. You know, it's all about relationships, folks, and the stronger our communities are, the stronger we are as a city, a county, and a state, and even nationally. So I appreciate so much you doing this, Hartsville Area Chamber of Commerce, reaching out into the communities, making them feel like they're part of something much bigger than they are, and letting their voice be heard. I'm Randy Vest. I am your Morgan County District 2 Commissioner, and I've been serving since November of 2010. We've had a lot of challenges within the county, and we've been fortunate to have great working relationships that we've been able to meet most of those challenges, and I would love to serve, and I appreciate you allowing me to do that.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Vest. We're going to move on to Dr. Lane Dillard, principal at Spartman School. Ms. Dillard.
Hey guys, I am Lane Dillard. I'm really excited to be here tonight. It's great to be at Danville. It's kind of unusual to see Spartman with Danville. When we do this through a commission district, that put us here, but it's fantastic because this is actually where I started my career. I was an instructional aide. Mr. Gary Walker hired me to work here. So when I come through these walls, I immediately feel like I'm 21 years old. I'm not 21 years old. That's a shock. But I feel like I'm 21 years old, and I can remember what it felt like to start out as a brand new teacher. And, you know, I just have to say I've never lost that love, and I see a lot of educators in here, and I know that when you do this because it's a calling in your life, it's just part of who you are, and it's just part of what you do. And so I thank the teachers and those educators that I see in here tonight. This is my 25th year in education. Y'all start adding up how old I am. This is my 25th year in education, and I have been a principal for 17 years. I was a district administrator for 3 of those years as well, but this is what I have done. And right now I am the principal at Spartman School, and before that I was a district administrator. I led our high schools and middle schools. I led safety. I've led counseling. I have led pre-K and multiple other things on the district level, textbooks and media centers and all those types of things. But before that, I've also been a middle school and an elementary principal before I came to Spartman. And also, I was the principal at Whitesburg Christian Academy for 3 years. So I worked in South Huntsville in that environment before I went to be a director. And so that's just kind of what I've done in the past. Right now, I'm at Spartman. We are the smallest school in the district. And it's a fantastic school, and I'm so excited to get to talk about everything that's going on in our school tonight. And I just appreciate you letting us be here. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. All right, moving on. We're going to move on to Miss Tara Morrow, principal at Danville Neal Elementary. Tara.
Hello, I'm Tara Morrow. I'm the principal at Danville Neal Elementary. This is my 10th year at Danville Neal, my 28th year in education. So I've been in a little bit longer than Lane, but I still love it. I mean, there are some days I think, okay, I can retire, so I'm done. I mean, there are lots of days I feel that way, but I love the people that I work with, not just in my school, but in the county, other principals in the area. I've been in Decatur City as a teacher. Madison County was where I started out, and then I was also in Madison City. I'm from Hartselle, so I feel like I have a good connection in all of the areas around here. So I can't say enough about Danville and the community and the people that I work with. If I didn't love them, it might be hard to stay some days, but I love my people. And I am very blessed with a great faculty and staff, and we're very blessed with great parents and great students. It is a very loving community, and I just enjoy getting up every day and going. I taught high school math and coached cheerleading for 18 years, so it was a big jump coming from high school to elementary, but the elementary kids still love you most days, and so that is a huge blessing. And I'm just very thankful. Like Mr. Vest said, I'm thankful to be doing this. This is not really, I don't mind talking one-on-one with people or, to my teachers or to the kids, but this is a little bit out of my comfort zone. So I appreciate the opportunity to do this and to talk about some things that are near and dear to me, which is our students and our community.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. All right, our last panelist tonight is Miss Shannon Anderson, Assistant Principal at Danville High and Danville Middle. Shannon?
As he said, I'm Shannon Anderson, and I serve as the assistant principal at Danville Middle School and Danville High School. I started out, I got my first job at Danville Middle, and Mr. Walker also hired me in 2004. I have held many different positions throughout the year. I taught 5th grade math for several years. I taught 7th grade reading for 1 year, and I also served as the Title I teacher for a few years. So I have been at Danville my entire career until last January. I went out to Technology Park and I served as the JAG specialist there and learned a little bit about career tech. I was there from January until June whenever I got the honor to come back and serve as the assistant principal here. So we do have a great community. We have great parents. Our community supports us, and I know that a lot of our teachers are here and they would agree with me that we couldn't do what we do without your support. So there are a lot of people in our community that steps up whenever we are in need or we have a student in need. We have a lot of great churches in our community that support us as well, and they help support the kids. So I thank you for this opportunity to get to share about my schools tonight.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you. Thank y'all so much for sharing a little bit about yourself. All right, we're going to jump right into our panel questions. I'm going to start right here with Mr. Vest. Randy, please share with us a few highlights that are going on in District 2 right now.
Okay, right now within District 2, this fiscal year, we had planned 12 roads to be resurfaced. And as I'm speaking, 10 of those are being completed at this time. And once those are completed, then we'll begin to build the shoulders on those roads, which is adding a crusher run of rock down the side. Because when you add new asphalt on the old, you have obviously a little bit of height that you've added, and we want to make it safe so that if you accidentally run off the road, you have that shoulder to give you time to recover from. The other 2 roads that we'll be working on in the summer are part of our Rebuild Alabama program. That's North and South Cedar Cove roads, 5.3 miles of road there to do. We'll begin repairing the base failures on those and also replacing the cross pipes that have an issue there. We've just a little bit completing additional parking for the baseball and softball teams here at Danville High School with the construction of the new athletic facility. A lot of parking space was lost there, and the people playing on the teams didn't have a good place to park, so we've created a little bit of additional parking for them after we were notified that the tow trucks were charging quite a bit of money. No, but they did several have to be towed out from a muddy area. But anyway, we're glad to do that, obviously. The commission took on building 3 buildings about 2 years ago. One was with our recycling department. We moved them from a residential area in Hartsville. We were able to sell that property. We're putting it all under one roof, so to speak, at the same location. That building has been completed and they're using it now. The other two buildings is one at Kateka for our licensed revenue department there, but what directly affects District 2 and the people who live within our area is the facility that's being built on Shoal Road. They're close to the District 2 offices. And that facility is a 7,000 square foot facility. It will have house our license and revenue offices. It will also house our Commission on Aging and also our Park and Rec departments. So for almost 2 decades, we've been leasing property in the shopping center. If you've ever heard the phrase, the right tool for the job, they've been having to fit an area with accommodations so that they can just do their job. It hasn't been the right tool for the right job. And we've been able to build that facility so that they now have that. It will be a great experience, not only for our workers, but it will be for the people who will visit that. You'll no longer have to stand in line. There's a lobby area there within the facility. It has public restrooms there. There'll be a kiosk if you want to do business, getting your tag renewed. You can do that on the kiosk. You can take a number and wait in the lobby, or you'll be able to leave your cell number and sit in your car if you choose to do that, and then they can message you to come in and do business there. And we know that will be a great experience for folks. We're also doing site prep for the county's first gymnasium, and that's taking place here close to us in the Neal Ironman area at West Park. That's a $1.9 million project that we're really excited about. We've done site prep for that, and along with that project will be additional parking that we'll be creating there, because if you've ever visited West Park when games are going on, it's crowded. It's a beautiful facility, and people really enjoy the experience they have when they're there. Then on a daily basis, in the middle of these things that we've got going on, we're always patching potholes. We're dealing with pipes that collapse, rust, fail. But one of the pleasurable things is dealing with new driveway installments for these people who are coming into our area and building new houses. We have 3 of those scheduled to do tomorrow, and we're looking forward to doing those.
Very good. Thank you. Dr. Dillard, going to jump into some stuff dealing with reading in your schools. Tell us how the Literacy Act is impacting your teachers and teaching styles at your school.
Okay, so the Literacy Act. So the best thing about the Literacy Act is it brought in a ton of training, and that is my favorite thing about the Literacy Act, just because it has given our teachers the opportunity to get on the same page. I really feel like we're doing the best job we probably have ever done in just the actual explicit teaching of reading, and I credit the Literacy Act for that. And Terry Collins, I think when she wrote that bill originally, it had a lot of really good intent. And who doesn't want a 3rd grader to be able to read? I don't know anybody that's against that. You know, everybody is for that. So we're for that premise, or I'm for the premise of the Literacy Act. But I will have to say, one of the things that I have seen is this brought in a lot of paperwork and a lot of bureaucracy. And I am a fan of accountability, and I am a fan of us doing a fantastic job teaching students how to read. But in reality, if we're having to sit down and do a lot of paperwork, then we're not teaching at that moment. And so I really feel like getting back to the original intent of that piece is very important, because that's the whole goal and role of the Literacy Act is to help our students be able to read and read effectively by that 3rd grade year. We also have to look at COVID, because our 2nd graders this year lost almost half of a year of their kindergarten year. Last year, we didn't go to school on Wednesdays, and we did a lot of students did it remote. So we're missing a huge chunk of instruction. So when we look at our 2nd graders this year, there's a very good chance that next year as 3rd graders, we're still going to have several that are behind. And with best practices and everything that we do with the science of reading and all the different pieces, that's fantastic. They still just need more time, because we lost time and we can't get that time back. So, you know, the piece with the retention, the retaining of 3rd graders, that has been pushed back before. We don't know exactly what's going to happen this year, but I do say that we are going to have to look at that retention piece, because I don't feel like that it would be fair to hold those students back next year that miss that much instruction. When we are going to get them where they need to be, we just need a little more time. We lost a lot of time. But it has been great with the training, and it has been great to bring in just that multi-sensory piece and other pieces of reading. And I'm absolutely for anything that holds us accountable with reading. But at the same time, it's got to be what's right for those children. And we need to give them that amount of time to actually reach our goals.
Very good. Ms. Morrow, going to ask you the same question.
Okay.
If you can share about how the Literacy Act is impacting your students and your teachers at Danville.
Okay, well, I agree a lot with what Lane said, pretty much everything she said, as far as the training has been great. We were very fortunate to have some title money and then some money that came from other sources to train our entire staff, which was huge on the multisensory piece. So that part has been a blessing. However, I'll touch on something a little bit more than what Lane said on the teacher aspect of it. It's causing us to lose good teachers. It's causing teachers to be burnt out. It is causing teachers to be stressed out. It's causing parents and kids to be stressed out. And that's really not what it should be about. Since I've been at Danville, third grade has been a very strong group for us. We've always had some very strong third grade teachers. And last year they were all ready to jump ship. One wanted to go to the library, one wanted to move to fourth grade, one wanted to move somewhere else. So we're losing our we're losing some of our strong teachers in that where really our strongest should be in third grade, since that's the piece, that we're looking at. That's the grade that's critical. But that's a lot of pressure on them to look at an 8 or 9-year-old child and say, you're having to stay in third grade because of this one test. And so I think we're doing a disservice to our teachers, our parents, and our kids. And it is a lot of paperwork. I spent 2 hours this afternoon looking at our iStation data because today was testing day. And one of the components is every month we have to go and look at each child and see if they've shown a weakness 3 months in a row in 6 different areas. Every child in the school. So 490 kids for me. So I'm halfway done. I did that today, but that's a lot. And I do that. I don't know how other people do it. I do that so my teachers don't have to, because I want them teaching. That's what they're hired to do. That's what they need to be doing. So it's stressful for me too as an administrator. I know that really wasn't part of the question, but it is stressful. The teaching has been great. I mean, we have learned a lot. The training that our system has helped us be able to provide, that has, like Blaine said, has been wonderful. It helped us all get on board. We had different grade levels doing different things, and that is a huge plus that we've seen, having some consistency from the bottom to the top and from school to school in the county, because we have so many kids that are transient, that go from place to place. So that part of it has been great. I just don't think when it is all said and done that it was thought of what stress it would bring to a lot of different people. Sure.
Well, that's an insight into a hot button issue in the K through 5, K through 4 education realm. Same in Hartsville, as we see with my engagement with the Hartsville School Board. All right, thank you, Ms. Morrow. All right, moving on, Ms. Anderson, share with us a little about the career and technical opportunities offered to students at your school.
Well, we are very fortunate to have a technology park in Morgan County. It is probably one of the best career tech programs in the nation. We start introducing our students to technology park in middle school. We go out and visit the facilities there, and the kids get to see the different things that they offer there. As you all know, college is not for every child. So a trade is a better option for some. So our students also take part in endless opportunities, which is put on by Calhoun. But Technology Park, if you don't know, they offer anything from auto body to cosmetology. They have JAG. As I mentioned, I went there to be the JAG specialist for a little while, so I like that program. HVAC, health science, childcare, culinary, and many other things. Here on our campus, we have FFA, which is led by Travis Allred, and we have FCCFA, which is led by Amy Williams. And they do many things throughout the year with students. We recently had a career fair called Career Connections. Our counselor, Amanda Weatherby, who is in the back, she and Monica Doherty, our career coach, they planned and organized this event. And we had several local businesses come out and colleges, and they set up booths in our gym. West Morgan East Lawrence Water was one. Joe Wheeler, Dwayne Eddy, who's actually here, he came and set up a booth. He's a local financial advisor. And our students really enjoyed that opportunity. You know, because of COVID for the last few years, we haven't been able to do a lot of things. So this was a great opportunity for our students. And we actually even had a couple of students who landed jobs from that. So our counselor, as I said, Miss Weatherby, is working hard right now to recruit students to go out and take advantage of our career tech program that we have at Technology Park. So I think that's good.
Yes, ma'am. Very good. Sounds like a lot of good opportunities for students.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, we're going to circle back around to Mr. Vest. As most know, the county commission serves as a collective body over Morgan County. Share with us a little bit about how the county commission is working collectively to better Morgan County and any direct impacts that has for District 2.
Well, I hear a lot about this on a daily basis, and, you know, because a lot of people look at county government, the way you conduct your business, and they make decisions based on that. Missy, with the chamber, you all well know that when people are looking to relocate a family, relocate a business, start a business, you know, they begin to look at areas like a Chamber of Commerce for information. They look at city and county government. If you stream your meetings, if you have it on cable TV, they look at that. They see how you conduct your business. So as the commission, we present a unified approach in presenting county government. No one commissioner has an agenda, a personal agenda that they try to push. We agree on the promotion of Morgan County, and we each consider ourselves as ambassadors for the county. When those businesses or when those families look at us to locate in Morgan County, they want to see their leaders working for what's best for the government and the people that they serve. How does this directly impact District 2? You know, by us working together, it's not only instrumental in attracting those new families and attracting those new businesses, but in retaining the ones that we have. A few years ago, Morgan County set a record in economic development of jobs and money spent with expansions of the plants and the businesses that we have locally without even starting one new business within the county. And that speaks very well, not only of our business leaders, but of our community leaders and our elected officials. You know, I believe this is also evident in the number of new homes that we're seeing in the subdivisions that's being developed. My county engineer just told me this past week of several subdivisions that he's looking at, trying to go through the process with them to make sure that they have everything in order. And the one thing that we want to do as county government is not handicap those. We want to make an easy process for them to do. But we've got several subdivisions where they are looking at developing anywhere from 115 to 700 houses. And that's very huge for our local communities in Morgan County.
Very good. I think people in the business of bringing in new business have always stated that it's a lot easier to invest in the ones that are already here instead of bring new. I mean, they're already here to invest in. So seeing those businesses flourish is a plus for Morgan County. Dr. Dillard, what are some things you are doing at your school to keep morale up and place emphasis on mental health within your student body?
So, you know, my theory on morale is it's not an event and it's not something you do. It's just your culture, and it's how you do things, and it's the way you treat people, and it's just how you start your day. And when you're intentional every day and you want every student who walks in that building to go, man, I love this place. And every teacher that walks in the building say, I love working here. That can't happen with an event. And it can't happen with anything other than just an intentional purpose. So one thing we do is when a child walks in the building in the morning, they've already been greeted by 5 people before they ever walk in the door. We have music going outside. Now, it's interesting. We kind of run the gamut from maybe some Frank Sinatra to a little Flow Rider. So, I mean, we got it going on outside. But we're having fun. We dance, we sing. And when they walk in that building, I want them to know no matter what house you came from, no matter where you came from, we are here today, and we are so glad you're here. And when they come in, we start our day in an assembly, which I don't know a school that starts an assembly, but we start our day in an assembly, and we celebrate birthdays, we celebrate America, we celebrate the military. Our children can sing every military fight song, whatever you want to call those songs. You know, I won't sing them while we're here, but you know, they know them, and they're in pre-K, and they are singing, you know, the Army song and the Marine song and the Navy song, and that's how we start our day. And we do that on purpose. We let our students, we have a word of the day, and they start telling us, hey, how does, you know, being courageous fit into your life? What does it look like when you're courageous? And they share with us, and we get ready, and we end our program every morning with, I am capable, I am loved, I belong, I got this. And the teachers and everybody, and we go to class. And when you start your day that way, and you are intentional, it's on everybody. And when visitors come, or when maintenance workers are there, no matter who's there, they're like, man, I love starting my day here, because I just have a good day when it's set up that way. And so part of our morale is just built around the culture that we have in our school. And we purposefully do that, because to get to your stuff about mental health, guys, we've got a lot of students who have mental health needs. We have teachers with mental health needs. I mean, I'm not joking. I mean that. Like, we have a lot of people with mental health needs. And when we can start our day and we can build those relationships, like Randy was talking about, everything centers around relationships. When we can build those relationships with our students, and when they come in, they know we love them, we have a much more likely opportunity to be able to reach them when they have needs. When it comes to mental health, we have fantastic counselors. We partner with a counseling service out of Coleman called Yellow Brick Road, and they come in and actually case manage with our students. We need more of that. We need a school psychologist at our central office. We need these things, because I'm just going to tell you, you know, I was actually the safety director at the central office when we had a suicide on Falkville's campus. And that day changed the way I will ever look at how important mental health is within a building. Let me just tell you, when you go to school, you want to do those things I was talking about. You want to go sing, you want to learn, you want to do reading, you want to do all those things. And if you're in a high school, you want to build those relationships with those kids. You do not expect someone to die that day because of a mental health need. And when you experience that, and that becomes part of, it changed me forever. I call it one of the defining moments in my career, because it really shifted my view to go, you know what, there's more than reading. You know, there's more than anything else going on in this building. Because if your well-being's not okay, nothing's okay. And so I really, that's a piece of who I am. And it's a piece of who I am as a leader. And no matter what role I ever play, mental health will be a huge piece of what I see that we have to be able to reach our students. But having that culture, having that piece in there, building that morale makes it just so much easier, so that they feel like they have that relationship to talk to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Ms. Morrow, what are some things you're doing at Danville Neal to address keeping morale up and addressing mental health with your students, and please hit on teachers as well?
Well, a lot of what Lane said, we start our morning with music. It's a little bit harder. I would love to do the assembly. That would be great, but it's a little bit harder for us. But we have lots of people in the cafeteria when the kids go to get their breakfast in the mornings. Our two PE coaches, who are loved by everybody, are down there. That's their duty in the morning. They're down there. The kids love to go and talk with them. And we have, you know, Miss Fields, our music teacher. She stands out front, and she'll hand out goodies and different things. The main thing for us, I think, is you have to create a culture, like Lane said, of caring and loving. Like, for example, today, we're doing walkthroughs this week, and one of our first year teachers, I was had scheduled to go in her room at 9 o'clock, and she sent me a text and said that her dog was really sick this morning, and she was worried about her dog. I mean, ended up being to put him to sleep, but I told her, I said, look, we can do this another day. This is not, you don't worry about this. You go home, take care of your dog. And we covered for her. I mean, you know, we took care of her class, and that's how it's got to be. I mean, people have taken care of me when my mom was sick last year. I mean, you take care of each other, and I just feel like we've got to have an open door policy. I've always been that way. I don't want anyone to ever be afraid to come and talk to me or anyone else in our building that's in a leadership position. They've got to know that I love and care about them, and then they're going to work hard for you, and vice versa. I mean, you know, the kids have to know that the teachers are going to provide that for them, and they do at our school. I mean, very seldom have I ever seen an incident where, you know, I felt like it could have been better, you know, from an adult. At the end of the day, the thing that matters the most is that those kids are well taken care of and they're safe and they feel loved. And I know our counselors have started a new thing called Rhythm that the kids are doing on a daily basis. Like every morning they, you know, sign in and they talk about how they're feeling or what they're going through. And I think as we're learning and navigating through that, I think that's going to be a huge piece, because a lot of them wouldn't say that to someone out loud, but if they have to type it in to their device, you know, that we could catch a lot of things that way, you know, just by checking that each day. So, you know, we do try to do little things for our teachers once a month or every once in a while, you know, just to kind of boost them out, because the last few years have been very stressful. I mean, we've been through a lot with COVID, with the Literacy Act, with just a lot of changes, you know. So I do think it's great to do little things, but like I said, that doesn't mean anything if you can't back it up with the love and the care that goes along with it.
Very good. Thank you. Ms. Anderson, share with us some of the facility upgrades and other things that are happening around the high school and the junior high campuses.
Well, we actually have a new athletic facility that is being built right now over in our main parking lot. It is expected to be finished in July. We all have our fingers crossed, and all the parents said, amen, because the traffic is not very nice to us in the mornings. But that athletic facility will house a new gymnasium, locker rooms, and coaches' offices. So I say all the parents say amen, because we have had to have our underclassmen start parking at the football stadium. And so we have a lot more students coming through the four-way stop instead of just being able to turn in here at the main parking lot. So if everyone could please practice their patience. Our SRO, he takes care of traffic down at the elementary in the morning, getting the buses through, and he actually gets stuck in traffic too. So, yeah, that's where we are. But Mr. Best was able to provide us with gravel a couple weeks ago to go out to our heating facility, because it was kind of muddy out there. It was a muddy mess. That's about all we have going on around here right now. That's taking up a lot of space and time. So we're ready for that to be done.
Yes, well, it'll be
Brick by brick, or block by block.
Yes. It'll be a great facility for Danville for a long time.
It will be.
All right, Mr. Best, I believe you are part of the Association of County Commissions of Alabama. Can you share with us a little bit about any updates or happenings with the Association of County Commissions regarding the current legislative session?
I'll be glad to. Each year, the association has a list of what they call priority bills that they like to see move forward, which helps in county government and other aspects to benefit our citizens. And I'll just mention 3 or 4 of those real quickly, and I'll not even read the bills, but I made a few notes on a couple of them so I wouldn't bore you to death with those, but some you may be familiar with and some not. And one is to just continue to clarify the county tax assessor's role in being able to appear in court on the behalf of when property in the county is being dealt with in a legal manner. Common sense would tell you that would be the best person that should be involved in a court issue when those processes take place. And we just want to see that that continues, because they're the ones who know best of what is taking place with that property and how best to deal with it. And that's HB 77. And then a Senate Bill 178 would extend the investment authorities of county governments and allow for non-obligated funds to be invested in higher yielding commercial paper and bankers acceptance opportunities. You all know and familiar with the ARPA program through the federal government, where they sent money down to state, county, and city governments. And many of those, because there are so many strings tied to the federal government's issuance of how that money can be used, then once it comes into the state, then each state has their own separate laws in which those monies can be used. So it's taken several months to finally get the final ruling from the federal government on how those funds can and can't be used. And now that process is going through the state. So we're dealing with those now. But what that does is we're sitting on a lot of money. All these government entities are. And if you have a program, if you have a project that you're going to do, and it may take 2 years to complete that project, then that money is sitting there in the bank account. And all we're asking for in that bill is for the opportunity to invest that money while it's sitting there doing nothing and allow that money to work for us. So just like you would with your home budget, with your business, we'd like to be able to do that in county and municipal government. HB 155 may affect some of you in the room. It deals with employee retirement system. Presently, if your spouse is works within an entity where they are involved in the ERS system and they pass away while they're involved in that duty process, then the spouse is left out. They don't get that retirement. And we're looking to pass a bill that will allow the spouse to be able to claim that retirement if their loved one passes away in the course of that duty. And then number 4 that I'll mention quickly is HB 255, and that deals with broadband. How many of you just have the most best internet service that you could possibly want?
My mother needs to raise her hand. She has the worst internet service.
How many of you pay a fair amount of money for what you've got, but you're not satisfied with it? Well, this particular bill, HB 255, is a constitutional amendment that, if passed by the voters, would allow government and counties to be able to spend tax dollars to private entities and other contractors to be able to construct broadband infrastructure in the area. You know, Morgan County is not without its dead spots by no means, but we're far better shape than a lot of other counties throughout the state. But there's one thing that I've learned speaking with business owners and educators is that broadband is probably as critical to infrastructure now as electricity was in the 40s and 50s. So we're looking very forward to hopefully being able to pass that bill.
Very good. Thank you for sharing about those happenings at the state level. I think the educators here would speak that the broadband need is critical in the education piece, especially with what we went through a couple of years ago. All right, Dr. Dillard, share with us how you are implementing STEM education throughout your school.
So we do a program at our school called Simulated Workforce, and Chamber, y'all need to come out and see this. Monica Doherty's been part of this. She's one of our career coaches, and it's fantastic. Our students actually work at Plainview Industries, and they clock in every morning. They wear badges that look just like ours. They clock in. If they have to leave the classroom, they have to clock out. They're losing time. Time is money. At the end of the week, they get a paycheck. In this paycheck, it's really just points, but it looks just like a paycheck, has a stub, the whole 9 yards. And if they're missing points for leaving class, getting in trouble, making poor choices, whatever happened, not coming to school, being tardy, being late, anything like that, they lose some points for. And at the end of the week, they get the opportunity to go into, we partnered with Nucor, they're our partner in education, and we have an arcade, like a legitimate arcade with black lights and Pac-Man and Pong and I don't even know what all we have. You name it, skee ball, we got it in there. And that's where they actually get to go spend their paycheck. We call that the payroll department. So the way this kind of factors not only into our workforce development piece, which is important to us because we want our students are our future workforce. They've got to leave with those soft skills to be successful. It also factors into our math programs because in our upper math grades, we also do financial literacy. Well, we do financial literacy the whole way through, but with our upper grades, they accrue interest. They learn about savings accounts. They learn that their money's worth more if they put it over in that pile where y'all's money is. And when they put that over, it's earning more. And I always have this, it's a pull. I want my kids to have everything. Whether they live in poverty or live in wealth, I want them to have the things that everybody has. So when it comes down to yearbooks and things like that, we'll give everybody a yearbook. There's lots of years we give everybody a yearbook. And we give them lots of other things. We pay for their field trips, those types of things. This has really helped because now we have a program in place where they can earn it. because I can tell them, because I'm going to find somebody to fund those things anyway. But instead of handing them that yearbook, I can say that yearbook's worth 400 points. You're going to have to put some of that in your savings account. So when you got to look at that arcade, and as tempting as it is and as fun as it is, you might want to put back about 8 points this week and not go in for 8 minutes so that you can actually put that in your savings account. And at the end of the year, you're going to hand me that $400 check and I'm going to hand you a yearbook. If it wasn't worth it to you to save that time out of the arcade, then you don't really want it. Because if you really want it, you got to learn to save for it. And that's a skill that we're trying to set, but we're actually pushing into that math piece. We also, within this, in Plainview Industries, we have 3D printers, and our students learn how to code, so they actually make a product. So at Christmas, they made Christmas ornaments, but they had to code all those out. This is another partnership with Nucor, just with industry. And what they do is they get to code things and make things, and so they make products. We'll actually be selling plants out of our greenhouse. And so our Plainview industry will be selling plants this year. So that will be another product that we do through what we do. But it's STEM oriented, but at the same time, they don't even realize it. They just think that they're having fun, and they don't realize that there's these huge life lessons. They're going to help them be able to be successful in life. And also learning how our kids who love to code and do those types of things, they're learning all this super important stuff so that they want to go in and do these things. They have that opportunity. So I think that's something unique we do that fits into that. I welcome y'all to come. We have visitors all the time that come and watch this program and watch how it works. And we would love for you to be part of that.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Ms. Morrow, how is Danville Neal Elementary offering additional educational assistance for students that might need some remedial help or anything that they might need just to bring their education level up?
Okay, well, 2 pieces of the Literacy Act, since we've already talked about that. One is after school tutoring, and last year we did that 4 days a week, and we realized that was way too much. So we cut that back to 2 days a week this year. And then we also have the summer reading program. We always did one, but then when the Literacy Act came into play, we changed over to that. It's a 72-hour reading program in the summer where students come for half a day and do a specific program called SPIRE that really, really helps, especially students that have dyslexic tendencies. They've shown, those they've either been diagnosed or they have not passed a screener that we, performed with them at school. So that is a very good program. We also use Haggerty. We use our IMSE strategies. We used to bring in a variety of things for that. But our biggest piece for us is we have, and I know Lane does it at her school too, a different version of it, but we call it team time. And we do it during the day. Each grade level has 30 minutes to an hour a day, depending on what they choose. They have a partner. Each teacher has a partner. So we break our kids up into small groups. So you would probably never have more than 10 kids in a group. So like our special ed students, when they go to special ed, everybody else is going somewhere too. They're either going to enrichment or they're going to, their remediation time. And so they never really know what group they're in. They never know that, hey, I might be in this group or this group. And it has really, we've been doing it, this is our 5th year, and our scores have grown tremendously just from us doing this because it is intentional. Everybody in our building helps, our librarian, our music teacher, our computer teacher, everybody helps with small groups. And so it's ownership. It's not just, Miss Dillard's class of 2nd grade, it's everybody's kids. So we have found that we didn't get to do it much last year, and so we missed it. And so we have brought it back this year, and it's been a great thing. Because like I said, it gives the kids a break during the day, and not everybody can stay for tutoring.
Sure.
Not everybody has the transportation, or we have a lot of kids that play sports, and they need to do that. And not everyone can come in the summer if their parents work. I mean, they have to do something different. So this gives every kid in our building an opportunity to either get the remediation they need, or they're not just one of the top kids in the classroom having to sit while other kids are being remediated. They're going and getting enrichment.
Yes.
So that's been huge for us,
Yes.
and we love it.
Very good. Very good. All right, Ms. Anderson, what are some things that you're doing at your school to keep morale up and place emphasis on mental health within the students at the middle school and the high school level?
Well, I really wish that we played music in the mornings, but unfortunately, dealing with preteens and teens who aren't morning people, we don't quite get that. So, but we do have our teachers and administrators in place in the mornings to greet our students as they're coming onto campus. Miss Weatherby, she greets our high school students as they come off the bus out here. Mr. Kelso and I cover the lunchroom, as well as a few other teachers and our custodians. At the high school, Mr. Chambers is in the hallway in the mornings greeting students. And I personally love getting, like, I had the kids that are now at the high school whenever they were in 5th grade. And so now I get to see them at the high school, and that's fun. So, but we have been able to bring back a lot of things this year for our students since our COVID numbers are going down. We're actually in the process of setting up for a concert tomorrow. Our government students in Coach Helm's class, they planned and marketed and organized a concert. It's called Reach and Teach. So if you've ever heard of the Velcro Pygmies, they will be here performing in our gym tomorrow for our students. So just different things like that. We've been able to have pep rallies this year. That helps with morale and school spirit. We have had student-teacher volleyball games. We've actually got a dodgeball game planned for a couple of weeks from now. Our students really love that, knowing, like our teachers always, they form a team and they play against them. So at this age, like, they want to know that you care about them. And that is a way for us to show them, that we care about them. As Ms. Morrow mentioned, we're also, our countywide is implementing Rhythm. This assesses our students' mental health daily. They have a window, like I think it's from 7 to 9 in the morning, that they have to log in, and our counselors follow up with them on that. We also have a great mental health counselor, Janice, who comes out and meets with our students on an as-needed basis. We actually, over the last few weeks, we've had a couple of students who have, 3 actually, who have lost loved ones. And so Janice has been out talking to them. Of course, if we have a student going through a difficult time, she'll come out and talk to them. Also, if our counselors reach out to her and just say, hey, we have this student, we need you to come out and talk to. As far as boosting morale with our faculty on both sides, they know Mr. Chambers and I and Mr. Kelso and I on the middle school side, we have an open door policy. Our teachers know that they can come to us anytime. And whenever they were talking and answering this question, I thought about Dr. Tanner. She did a PLU a couple of years ago, and it was The Way of the Shepherd. And I really love that book. And you've got to know your flock before you can lead them. And so, fortunately, I have had the opportunity to be a peer with a lot of the teachers at the middle school. So I'm kind of at an advantage there. I'm still learning on the high school side. We laugh a lot. I tell them, having 2 different schools, it's like being married to 2 different men. You've got a way you do things on this side, and then you have a way, that you do things on this side. So anyway, it's fun.
I didn't know where you were going.
Yeah. I perked up though. I was like, oh. But no, I laugh about it because, I have an administrator on the middle school side, and then I have one on the high school side. And so sometimes things aren't always the same. But anyway, but like I said, whenever I did my introduction, our community supports our faculty and staff at those schools. We have parents who recently brought in lunch for our faculty. The churches, they do different things for us. Back at Christmas, Danville Baptist provided a nice spread of Cracker Barrel. And so just doing things like that, just to let them know that they are appreciated and they are supported. We are not afraid to reach out to our community, and they always help us out.
Sure. They will always fill the gap as needed in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. Mr. Vest, as North Alabama grows, what is the focus of the Morgan County Commission regarding growth and recruitment for the area? Probably commercially, industrially, but residentially as well.
Well, residentially, as I mentioned earlier, we daily basis. Answer those phone calls for people who are moving into the area. They bought property. They're unsure about how to get a driveway, how to get a culvert. We deal with those things on a daily basis. From an industrial and commercial, we work very closely with our Morgan County Economic Development Association, also with our regional and state partners on those issues and those projects. You know, perspective is a lot of things. You know, sometimes people say I've got a problem and somebody else may think it's an opportunity. Well, we've got a problem with our Mallard Fox Creek Industrial Park, and that is that it's full. But is that a problem or is it an opportunity? It gives us opportunity to look for other things to try to help our area grow. We have the Morgan Center Business Park in Hartsville that's been sitting vacant for 10 years. And people say, gosh, y'all need to be doing something. Well, we have been. We've been marketing that for 10 years. And it's not an area that's for a lot of type of businesses. It's not for a business that does production, has a lot of smokestacks. But we're thankful that we have got our first client there, and they're a local company. And they'll be moving into that area, and their corporate headquarters will be there, and they'll be adding to their workforce, and it will be really great for our area. But dealing with those issues can be stressful, but we take them on in stride, and we know that it's the best thing to do for Morgan County. You know, we have shopped Morgan County to a lot of clients since I've been in office. And one of the things that we've learned is sometimes we can't accommodate those clients. They need maybe a ready to occupy 650,000 square foot facility, and we just don't have that. But you know, some of our neighbor counties do. And when our neighbor counties are able to land those clients, it's a win for us. I can tell you that we have a lot of individuals living in Morgan County who are working in adjacent counties. And that's a win for us because they come home, they pay their power bill locally, they do their shopping locally, they buy their gas locally, they want to make home improvements, they buy those products locally, they attend our schools. All those things benefit our schools, our municipal government, and our county governments. So we're focusing to keep those relationships strong so that we can work together and be there. When we are able to meet that need, we want to make sure we're able to land that client.
That's right. Very good. Thank you. All right, Dr. Dillard, share about some student achievement and state testing metrics for your students, and maybe some areas where you see some potentials for improvement.
So this is really my favorite thing to talk about Spartman. So when I got to Spartman, the superintendent has said, I need you to go to Spartman if you'll go out there and be the principal. I was director at the time, and I said, absolutely. That school has always just had a place in my heart. The population there I just adore. And he then came the next words. We've got to either get it turned around or we're going to have to shut it down. Oh, okay. So that was really the mandate when I went out. We got to get this place turned around or we're going to have to shut it down. And if you've ever been in a turnaround process, or if you've ever tried to take something and really take it from issues to something that's just really great, it takes commitment, it takes buy-in, it takes other people other than just you. You cannot do those things alone. And I am so proud. We had an F on the state report card. I'm just going to tell you that's a bad day. That's never a good day. Nobody knows what that feels like because I'm the only one that's ever had one since the state report card came out. But we had an F on the state report card. We're already working on these culture things and all these shifts that we're talking about where we're really getting stuff turned around. And within the next 2 years, so within 4 years of the time that I got there, we had improved 25 points on the state report card. We're the third most improved school in the state of Alabama. Last year, we won an extremely competitive Class Banner School Award. Those are, there was 132 schools in the state of Alabama that were up for that award, and they picked 8. So we were one of those schools. And then we're a Blue Ribbon School of Excellence. We got that award as a Beacon School this year, and just absolutely, I can't tell you. I think the thing that makes me just so happy and just so proud is that it's collective. I didn't do this. I have this fantastic staff, and this fantastic staff just does, because what we live by at Spartman is just because something's difficult for adults doesn't mean that you don't do it if it's right for a child. So whatever's right, you do. If it's hard for us, hey, guess what? That's our job. If we don't leave exhausted every day, we haven't done a very good job. And, you know, and sometimes there's teachers who, you know, when you have that kind of culture, that might not be where they want to be. Does it make it good or bad? It just means this is an environment where this is what's going to happen. And when you make that commitment to that, and when you really look at your students and you go, I'm going to invest, because our vision for our school is that we will provide the most individualized school in the state of Alabama. And we do that. We do that. And I say we fly northeast. I know northwest or southwest or whatever it is. That's the plane. But we fly northeast. So if you're looking at data, you always want your data to be going northeast. You want go this way for me, this way for you if we're flying northeast. So we always celebrate that, because I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of debate out there about improvement, achievement, which came first, the chicken or the egg. I'm just going to tell you this. I've been on a lot of diets in my life, okay? And I can promise you that you don't just wake up one day with results. You have to work, and you have to have a process, and you have to look for all these things to be excited about. Otherwise, you just fall off and you go back to whatever it is you were doing. And so it's the same way with school. It's the same way with your life. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to have a trajectory to get you there. If you want to be here, you don't just hop up there. There is a trajectory that gets you there. Are we where we want to be? We'll never be where we want to be. When we get to the top, we're going to find something else we want to do. We're going to find that achievement. We're going to move on. But I can tell you, I don't care how fantastic you are or how terrible you are, if that's a school or an individual, there's always that opportunity for growth. There's always the opportunity to be better. And that's what we say. We're just going to come in today hoping we do better than we did yesterday. And we go to bed tonight going, no matter what happened today, tomorrow we're going to be better. And that's what we do with our students. That's what we do with our faculty. You know, today's not the end. Today's just a piece. And so when you look at things like that, it gives you that motivation to get to that end piece. So to answer what we want to focus on, we just always want to focus on being better. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter what awards you win. Those awards only matter because it means that you are providing an atmosphere and a place for your students to go to school where people are focused on success. And that's the only reason the awards matter. Otherwise, they're just some banner hanging somewhere, or there's some trophy sitting in a trophy case. They only matter because it means that you impacted those people in that building. And so that's what we do with test scores. I have, you know, if you ever want to sit through a data meeting, I love some data. We can sit down and go numbers. You don't want to hear that. So, but I can tell you, we use our data to drive what we do. And then we just celebrate every little success along the way, no matter how small it is, because it's getting us where we want to be.
Very good, very good. You've crushed all our dreams about dieting.
Sorry.
All right, Ms. Morrow, share with us briefly about your state testing scores at Danville Neal and some maybe improvements you've seen, and maybe some areas of focus as well.
Okay. Well, like Lane, we had a gut punch several years ago when we first started getting those grades, and we had a 71. I'm not a 71 person. That just didn't sit well with me. And I'm a math person too, so I'm like, okay, what are we doing wrong? And we had to really start from the bottom and really restructure pretty much everything we did. And I'm a people pleaser. I like people to be happy. We had to have some tough conversations, and we had to make some changes. And after a couple of years, thankfully, we got that grade up from a 71 to an 89, which did not come easy. I mean, and that was not because of me. That was because of, like Lane said, our whole buy-in from our whole faculty. It was tough. It was a lot of work, but that's where we kind of started looking at that team time and bringing in those, you know, different changes in how we do our scheduling. There was a couple of years Ms. Weatherby taught with us. We changed our master schedule in the middle of the year because we realized it was not what looked good on paper in the beginning was not working. So let's fix it. So we changed our whole master schedule in the middle of the year. And that's what it has to be about. I mean, you've got to do what's best for kids. What we as adults think, you know, is the best is not always the best. And if it's not working for the kids, let's fix it. We shifted and we created our own phonics program before we had the IMSC training. And that helped kind of start us going in the right direction. And then we got the IMSC multisensory training, and that has by far been the best thing that we could have ever done. If you could see our kindergarten and first grade scores today compared to what they were 2 years ago or even last year, it's phenomenal. Just what one program and everybody buying into it and doing it to fidelity can do. I mean, you just have to set that expectation. This is what we have to do. This is what's working. And when you see the results, and then people are like, oh, yeah. So that's been huge for us. This year, I'm very thankful that Mr. Elliott and our board found a way to give us all an interventionist on campus. That has been huge. And then we used some of our Title I money to hire 3 additional people to come in and help with that team time throughout the day. And so I use my interventionist strictly as she does math for the most part. And we've never had math intervention during the day where we never had a person that we could pull to do that. So I'm hoping that that boosts our math scores this year, because every child who is struggling, on those monthly and the tests we take 3 times a year, they're getting pulled 3 times a week to work on that math intervention. And so that's been huge for us. And so I'm hoping that we continue to see it. We were fortunate to go through, it was a big deal for a lot of our teachers. They wanted to go through the blue ribbon process. And so we did, and we were chosen as a beacon school 3 years ago. And then 6 months later, once that new state report card grade came out and we had increased it, we were chosen as a lighthouse school. And that was a big deal for our community and for our teachers and our kids. So I'm very proud of that. So.
Very good. Thank you so much. Ms. Anderson, how is Danville High School and Danville Middle administration working to recruit and retain great teachers for both of your schools?
Well, this past summer, we hired 11 new teachers. Some of those were on the middle school side, some were on the high school side. We also hired a new counselor. Unfortunately, right now, there's not a lot of people who are in education or, in school to be teachers. We recently heard, and I'm trying to remember who told me this, but they were saying that there are only 4 students, three at Athens and 1 at UNA, who are in the math field. So, that's very discouraging. But hopefully that will turn around. Of course, we network with fellow administrators across the county and other administrators in other places just to put fillers out to see, sometimes people leave for different reasons, whatever. So we rely on them as far as networking goes. We reach out to colleges. We actually have a student teacher here with Miss Hen right now who is teaching math. So I'm sure that she will be snatched up very quickly. So we were able to have some great hires this summer. We have a new football coach, and his wife came. She is one of our 5th grade teachers. And then we also hired a new softball coach. So she's doing a great job as well. So we had several good hires this year.
Very good. It's sometimes you like the same faces, but new faces can bring some energy.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, we are about an hour into our night. There's one more panel question for each panelist, and then we will go through for some closing comments. So our last question directed to this position.
Experience, teamwork, and commitment. I completed the required courses each county commissioner selected has to take, but I continued on and received a degree from the Alabama Local Training, Governmental Training Institute, and that was through Auburn University. And then my peers unanimously elected me as president of State Association of County Commissions, and that term ended in August. I know county government. I know that in District 2, we have 274 roads that we maintain. That represents 231 miles. You may not think about it, but we have 6,356 driveways that meet the right-of-ways on our roads. As of this fiscal year, we will have resurfaced 111 roads. That's equal to 95 miles, and that's 7.6 million of your tax dollars. We've completed 5 major bridge projects, and those have totaled 13 million. Our park, West Park here in the community, we've been able to make improvements there of about $750,000. We've added soccer fields, we've added the archery range, we've improved fencing, we've added concession stands, we've added pavilions, and we've added heating and cooled restrooms there also. And as I mentioned earlier, we're now in the process of building the very first county gym there. And may I add also that we have purchased property on the east side of the county at Kateka, and plans are to build a gymnasium there also. Our seniors in our communities in District 2 have benefited from 2 new senior sites, one at Neal and one in Somerville. This gives them a place that they can go and be with people of their own age. They can eat a meal, they can play games, they can exercise. There's a walking track at the one at Somerville. The one at Neal is close to our West Park. There's activities in which they can be involved in. And it gives them the opportunity to have more quality of life and enjoy that time with friends. We've worked very closely with our partners to develop a spirit of teamwork. You know, we've done site prep for 3 new volunteer fire departments in District 2. We've added asphalt parking for those. We've made sure that each one of the fire stations in District 2 has a FEMA approved storm shelter, so that when you receive that notice, whether you get it electronically on your cell phone, you've got an iPad, any type of app that you might use, whether it's TV, whether it's a storm weather radio, when you receive that notification, you still need to have someplace to go and be safe. We found that vitally important to our communities to have that storm shelter to be able to go to. We have helped in the installation, done site prep for 6 of those in District 2. 3 of those we paid for 100% with funds from District 2 and 50% for a 4th one. You know, we work very closely with our Morgan County Rescue Squad, also our Sheriff's Department. We want to make sure that they have the equipment that they need and their facilities are addressed and safe so that they're able to do their job and stay safe in doing that. The elementary, the middle, and the high schools here in the Danville Neal area have each benefited from walking tracks, from turn lanes, outdoor practice facilities. We've tried to work with them any way we can to see that they have what they need to keep their facilities safe. Hartselle High School, when I came into office, they were in the process of constructing their new high school there, and we loaned them equipment to help build their service roads. And then later, J.P. King Stadium, we constructed and paid for a parking lot there, which allows the visiting team a place to park. And if you're aware of rivalries in sports, you know how important that can be at a football stadium or a gymnasium, either one. So we were proud to do that. The town of Somerville, we've worked along with them to see that their roads are addressed, and we've paid many of those. The city of Hartsville, we've worked with several projects on them, from the downtown parking lot, which has been very beneficial with the upgrades that's been made within the city, along to several of the streets and roads that we join on. We've been able to work in partnership with those to see that those are taken care of also. Spartman School. Spartman School is benefited by a walking track and by a bus turn lane. But one of the best projects that I've had the privilege of working on is there at Spartman School. And that's the Field of Dreams. It's a handicapped, fully ADA compliant softball field where our handicapped people can go and play. And if you have not seen that facility, you need to go and see it. It's beautiful. Another passion project that we're very proud of is another one that many people in Morgan County are not aware of, and that's our Morgan County Veterans Memorial Park. It's located at Priceville, and that was a joint effort by combined patriotic organizations in Morgan County, the town of Priceville, Morgan County Commission, private businesses, and citizens. If you haven't visited it, you need to. No one will be more committed to work hard on a daily basis. Every decision made is made to improve the quality of life for Morgan County. I love my job. I will continue to serve with integrity and promise not to embarrass you. Experience, teamwork, and commitment. That's my choice.
Very good. Good. Commissioner, thank you so much for sharing about the great things going on in District 2.
Thanks so much.
All right, Dr. Dillard, as you have qualified to run for Morgan County School Superintendent, tell us a little bit about your campaign platform and vision for the county school system.
Well, everything that I believe is really based on one thing, and it's the way I've done everything for 25 years. It's the reason I've done things the way that I do them. And that is just the firm belief that nothing matters more to anyone than their child. It doesn't. It's the most important thing in your life. Your grandchildren are the most important thing in your life. And when they come into a school, where they come into a school district, they're trusting us to be able to take care of them, to have them ready when they graduate, to love them and to be their family during the school day. And for 12 years, 13 years. And because of that, and that's really the premise of everything that I believe in, it's really what my entire platform is built on. When nothing matters more than your child, nothing matters more than their future. And just the things like I was talking about at Spartman with our simulated workforce, that can be pushed into every Morgan County school. There's no reason that should be at one place. When your child graduates from high school, they need to have a decent idea what they want to do with their life. Now, they don't have to have it hammered down, but they should know where their skill set meets their passions. I mean, that's important. And we have to prepare them for that, whether they want to be a lawyer or they want to be a welder or they want to be a neurosurgeon or they want to do auto body or be a nurse or cosmetology or anything in between. We owe them preparing them for that. If any of you have had anyone graduate from high school and change their major, it's quite expensive. And so the better prepared we can have them, the less we get into that, because they shouldn't be finding out that fourth year of college, I don't think I want to do this. Well, we should give you some opportunities, job shadowing, opportunities to visit places, apprenticeships. That could easily be happening in our junior and senior years of high school, just to give these kids experience. Because you know what, if you think you want to be a nurse and you go be a candy striper at the hospital and you faint, you probably don't want to do that job. I mean, this is something we might want to find you something else to do. So we need to help them do that. And that's our mandate, that's our responsibility. And I really, because of the career focus that I have, because of my passion for career tech and everything else with AP and all the high-end classes, I really feel like that's a piece where I can lead and really make a difference in the way we prepare our students for when they graduate. I also believe nothing matters more than your child's safety. And I told you, I've worked a bad day. I've worked more than one bad day. And, we've got to have that commitment to safety, because it doesn't matter if you have a 99 on your state report card. If something happens in that building that could have been prevented, then no one cares what your state report card was. With that, we have to have more SROs. We've got to have one in every building. In some of these really large schools, we need two. When we look at these schools, there's not enough. So we've got to have that commitment. I actually brought in the very first SROs that worked in our school district. I brought those in. That was back in about 2006. And the very first SRO actually came and worked when I was the principal of the alternative school. Well, the alternative school is still at Spartman, so I guess I still am the principal of the alternative school. But when I was originally there, we would partner with Decatur City to come in. And some of our, Trinity uses their local police force. Our other schools use this Morgan County Sheriff's Department, and they've been fantastic to work with. But we've got to make sure that everybody's on the same page. That if we have a city police and we have the law enforcement working from the Sheriff's Department, and we have our administrators, that everyone's communicating, because even though we use sheriff's deputies, if something happens, that local law enforcement team is going to be the first ones there, and they have to know everything we know. So just that partnership, building those relationships and collaborating through law enforcement is just, it's important. AEDs, knowing that we everything like that is absolutely important. The other thing that really matters is your child's opportunities. We've got to make sure we have some equitable opportunities across our school districts. It shouldn't matter. It should never be the luck of the draw if your child's going to get a bang-up good education. It should be no matter what school they walk in, you know that they are going to be prepared. It shouldn't just be, oh, they're only going to get great education at Danville, or they're only going to get great education at, Catawba. It has to be that they're going to get a great education, period. And that's that commitment to excellence. That's that commitment to saying teachers teach, administrators lead. We have to have that. And people that don't want to do that need to know then there's probably another school district for you. There's probably another place for you to work, because we're here to do our best. And we are not here for one other reason. That's the only reason we're here. We've got to make sure we have those equitable opportunities. That's also in our sports facilities. That is in multiple things that we look at. We're looking at Falkwell High School wanting that new gym. Y'all are getting the new gym and those types of things. Fantastic. You deserve that. Our students deserve to have the things in place that they need to have the opportunities. We should be building a team at every single school. There should never be a time we have to look at kids and say, hey, you can't play this year because we can't find a coach, or you can't play this year because we don't have XYZ. Absolutely not. It's not acceptable. And so we have to make sure we're doing what we can and having those things in place to make sure every child gets those opportunities. And the last piece of really what I stand for is really just that nothing matters more than your child's needs. Like I said before, I fantastic if they're smart, fantastic if you're making great grades, but if your child's well-being is at play and they're having mental health issues, or even, we work a lot with physical needs. I brought in our first, y'all have FACT workers here. They're fantastic. We partner with PACT, the Parents and Children Together in Decatur, to have those social workers on our school campuses. We need more of those because they share schools. And I brought in the first FACT workers back in, I guess it was like 2008, right around, might have been earlier than that, 2007 or 2008, I brought in that first one. Now we have them at all the schools because I was able to write those grants when I was a district worker. We need those things in our schools. These aren't just fluff. They're not non-negotiables. I mean, they are non-negotiables. They're not negotiable. We don't say, hey, well, social work's great, but we don't have to have it. Or mental health's great, but we don't have to have it. Yes, you do. You got to have all those pieces in place because we want to meet every need of that child, not just the academic need. We have lots of needs that we have to meet. And so that's just a passion of mine. It's not something that's necessarily going to be on a typical platform for somebody running for superintendent. But I absolutely think it is just vital that is there. And so I just encourage you to check out anything you want to check out. Ask me any question ever. I will talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime. And I just encourage you to really, dig in and look at what's offered for you in this election. And I would just encourage you to vote for me for superintendent in Morgan County Schools.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing about your passion for Morgan County Schools. Ms. Morrow, last question for you. Does Danville Neal Elementary offer pre-K education, and how important do you think it is to have kids in school during that pre-K age?
Well, I told you I'm a people pleaser, so I'll tell you how important pre-K is to me. Last year, our regional director called and said, we would really like to have a third pre-K at Danville Neal. Do you have room? And the only way I could make that work was to pretty much uproot everybody, the whole front hall, both sides. So I moved the first grade down to where the second grade was, moved the second grade down to the end of the hall, and moved kindergarten down some so that pre-K could have the rooms that have the restrooms in them. So yes, it's a big deal to me. We started out 4 years ago with one pre-K through OSR. And of course we have a special needs pre-K program that has always been there. And that is a phenomenal program. But I loved the pre-K program when we added it. I wasn't sure in the beginning because there are so many, rules and stipulations. But we found a happy medium and it works. And so then we added a second one the next year. And then last year, the beginning of this year, they said, can you have a third one? And so, yes, I love it. Our kindergarten students come in knowing the routines and procedures in our building and just, what it takes to walk in a straight line or how to fix their plates in the cafeteria, just the small things that kindergarten teachers would spend a month teaching at the beginning of the year. So I think it's huge. I've got one room left that I could possibly use. If they come and say, hey, do you have room for another one? I would do everything I could to make it work.
Great. So. Great. Very good. Very good. All right, Ms. Anderson, last question for you. And something that is, I believe, an issue in a lot of schools with high school students. How has social media impacted bullying and harassment incidents within your school?
Oh, wow. Well, you know, whenever we were in school, we didn't have to worry about social media, and I'm very thankful for that. But unfortunately, being at a middle school and a high school, so many students have access to social media. I am a parent who has allowed my child to have social media. Sometimes I regret that. I monitor that on the daily. I'm only on some of the social media platforms because of her, and she knows that. I'm there to creep on her. And I have people who creep on her. But we have had a few incidents, and of course, you know, a lot of times there are things that we don't know about. And, you know, parents will reach out, they're upset, and we're like, we did not know anything about this. Had we known something about this, then we could have done something about this. So communication is key. Unfortunately, I think social media is just going to get worse because people get on social media to, you know, bash others, and they have forgotten how to communicate that. So I say that to say, if your child is being bullied, or if they are experiencing anything like harassment through social media, please reach out to us, because if we don't know about it, there's nothing we can do about it. And we want to make sure that our kids are, you know, they feel safe, that they want to come to school. It's such a hard age, middle school. And, you know, even freshmen and sophomores, they're still trying to figure out who they are. And when you are hearing and seeing bad things about yourself or other people in your school, it's hard. So we try to nip things as soon as we hear about them, and reach out to the parents. We talk to the students. We'll let the teacher know, you know, hey, this is going on. As I said, you know, communication is very important. So we ask parents and family members just to please reach out to us if there's ever an issue.
Sure. I would assume all the other educators at the high school level around Morgan County probably share the same sentiment. They would love
It even goes to the elementary.
Yes, sure. So
It really does.
They would love to just be involved on the front end.
Yes, and I will say, you know, a lot of times, instead of reaching out to us, parents reach out to social media outlets, and they share these things on social media instead of contacting us and letting us try to handle the issue. And so,
And sometimes our hands are tied.
Of
I mean,
course.
it's something that we can't control.
yes,
Absolutely.
so
Very good. Thank you.
communication is key.
That's it. That's it. Thank you so much for sharing. Well, that wraps up our panel questions. Do want to give these panelists an opportunity to share a closing comment or anything of note as we wrap up. And Ms. Anderson, we'll start with you and work back this way.
Okay, well, so in my introduction, I had planned to mention this, and I would be in a lot of trouble if I did not. Our schools, the middle school and the high school, just recently went through the blue ribbon process. And we had an assessor come out, I guess that was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I've slept a few times since then. So he came out and he was able to identify the great things that we're doing here, our faculty and our staff and our students on both sides. And he also was able to point out some things that we need to improve on. As one of the ladies said, you know, there's always room for improvement. So we worked with our teachers to come up with things that we can implement here on both of our campuses. And he actually called me last Thursday, I believe, and said that Danville Middle School and Danville High School were both going to be recognized as Blue Ribbon Schools of Excellence, Beacon Schools. So we are very excited about that. Our faculty and staff and our students are going to continue to strive toward the goal of reaching lighthouse status. Of course, you know, raising test scores this year is very important in creating some more opportunities for our students. So I just wanted to share that good news with y'all, and I appreciate this opportunity tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for being part of it. Ms. Laura, any closing comments?
Yes, thank you all that came for coming out tonight and being a part of this. I would just like to thank the chamber and Ms. Mace for doing this. I'm glad I got to do this. This was fun. It makes you really think about all the good things that you do have going on in your community and your school. I'd like to say this is just a happy our partner in education, Sparks, and one of our school board members and our system all provided signs for us this year. And we have a new school sign going up. They came and started it today, thank goodness. So we're very excited about our school sign being replaced and it quit working. And those things are expensive. So we're great to have a good partner to help us with that. And also, our school system provides computers and a lot of technology for our teachers this year. Saved us a lot of money through our title. And we're very blessed that we are going to, once again, this year be able to provide school supplies for all of our students. So the parents will not have to do that again this year. So we're very, very fortunate to be able to do that.
Yes. Thanks. Well, thank you so much for being a part of that. Dr. Dillard, any closing comments?
Yeah, thank you so much. Anytime I get the opportunity to talk about how fantastic Spartman is, I relish that, and I do want to encourage you, come visit us anytime. We have visitors all the time. We typically have about 30 to 40 visitors a month from all over the state, and we've kind of gotten so many now that we tell them they have to come on Thursdays. Thursdays are visit days, just so that we don't have people in the building every day, but we would love for you to come and visit. I'm a fan of Morgan County schools. I went to Falkville all the way through first grade through 12th grade. My children, I have a daughter that graduated in 2020 from Price School. I have a son that graduates this year, and then I have a daughter that's in the 9th grade who graduates. So they'll all be Morgan County graduates. I am so proud and so thankful that this is the area that God allowed me to be born into and to be able to be a part of, because this is a fantastic community. When people come into our schools, no matter which one it is, it's always amazing how much they say, man, y'all have some fantastic schools. And I'm like, yeah, they all have different personalities and they all bring such a unique piece to everything. And I'm thankful I got to be in Danville tonight, because like I said, this is like coming to my, coming home for where I started teaching, and I appreciate that. And really,